Denison Main Street Board of Directors meeting. Do we have any public comments today?
No card received, sir.
Okay. Let's move on to items for individual consideration. This receiver report, hold discussion, take action on approval of the minutes from the board meeting on June 26th. You'll find that on page 3.
Page 2. They're real long.
Oh, I'm on the, not the, oh, did I say the ink?
No, you said Main Street Advisory.
You said
Okay.
4.
Yes, we're on the big board.
Oh, I'm always on ink first. Ignore me.
Oh, we need to be on the.
Start on
Okay.
Come on, ink boy.
So let's receive, same thing, from May 22nd,
Yeah.
held on June, okay.
Make a motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved, and there are no more items, so this meeting is adjourned at 8:11. And at 8:11, let's call to order the Main Street Advisory Board meeting. Any requests to speak for the public?
No, sir, no card received.
Okay. Items for individual consideration, let's receive a report, hold discussion, take action on approval of the minutes from June 26th.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved. All right, on to 3B, receive a report, hold discussion, and consider support of the expansion of the Denison Arts and Cultural District.
We have Cindy Salem here with us, representing the Denison Arts Council, and she will tell us about a redistricting.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just a little backgrounder on how and why this is coming forward. The Denison Arts Council is considered the administrator or sponsor of the Cultural Arts District that was set up in 2009. The Arts District itself's boundaries were also set in 2009, and they were kind of a footprint that was already existing in our Main Street. Well, over the ensuing years, a few things have developed that made us think that we should at least look into the potential of expanding the Cultural Arts District so that it includes some key areas that would be to our advantage. A couple of reasons for that is, for example, if you want to host events that are considered part of our Cultural Arts District, they need to be within the Cultural Arts District. Another reason would be entities that would want to receive funds from the Texas Commission of the Arts. They also need to be within the Cultural Arts District. We've grown. So we looked into it and found out what the process was, and this is why I'm here with you. So in a very broad overview, the actual application's fairly straightforward. They want to know what you want to do and why you want to do it. The other part is informing stakeholders about what you're planning to do as a cultural arts district. So our first step was to go to Main Street, and we had a meeting with the Main Street staff and talked about the next two steps, which is one, what do we all think those boundaries could look like? And two, part of the application process is we need to inform the TCA, the stakeholders that were informed. So this is a discussion. It doesn't need to be a vote or a decision. And so we came up with two other entities. Besides, we did it at Design Committee, which made sense because public art's a pretty big part of it. This was the second meeting, and that's with you all as the Main Street Advisory Board. The third meeting we're going to hold is with the Stakeholders Committee that Main Street hosts. So we'll have a discussion at that. The fourth one that's important is a public meeting must be held. Well, the Denison Arts Council hosts a public meeting once a month. So those dates are going to be for the stakeholder meeting and the Denison Open Council meeting, which will be the public meeting that we by then will have recommended boundaries. We'll advertise it and show the TCA that we've advertised it. Those are all in August. Then the Board of Directors for the Denison Arts Council, which serves then as the sponsors for the CDA, we vote in September. We'll send the paperwork in, and then we'll see what Texas says. So let me show you the boundaries that we have them now. Sam has that up, and you can see that the kind of the green box is what we currently call our boundaries. So we've got the north side is, of course, it's Gandy, which meant that the library was already included. That was one of the things we double-checked. On the west side, we have Armstrong, which we're recommending stay where it is. But the south side ended at Crawford, and that then excluded Forest Park, which is obviously a pretty big entity for multiple reasons. One is the events that we hold there. There's public art there. It's the beginning of the walkway to the Eisenhower birthplace. So that obviously was one that we wanted to loop in and consider. So by dropping that south border down, we could include that. We go over on the, perfect. If we go over to the east side, it was the railroad tracks. Now, that's a little different than most of the boundaries that were already existing for the historic district, the entertainment district, and all that. It just happened to be the way they drew it. But it also excluded all the rolling inventory for the railroad. So that's not on our list, but that will be added to the rationale. Obviously, the Travelers Hotel is excluded from that, but very importantly, so is Eisenhower Birthplace. Now, the cultural arts districts must be contiguous, so we couldn't grab spots here and there, which is why, for instance, Frontier Village can't be included. But by extending our boundaries to the east to include Eisenhower and Travelers Hotel, and to the south to include the birthplace and all of its geography, we're going to then recommend that this blue footprint be it. I think one more, Sam will have the streets. No, okay, we're fine here. Elle helped me with this. So that I actually had a graphic. It's not my talent. No, don't worry about it. So it's Day Street if you go all the way south of the birthplace, right down there. And then it is Travis. Travis goes north. There's no limits or description at the TCA what the size limit is, but certainly if you look at footprints from some of our sister cities, this is modest in size. So what I'd like to hear is your discussion about whether or not you have other suggestions for these boundaries, if you would approve these boundaries. Again, the voting will happen later, and we'll have another stakeholder meeting to take the next proposal. Thoughts?
I think I would extend it all the way to Tone. Honestly, going forward as we grow, I feel like we're just gonna get more and more business on Main Street.
Well, there's an art
There's an art.
venue at 930 West Main.
930 West Main.
I'm just curious, can you include places like Estate Places, Eisenhower? Can you include them? Does the state allow you to include?
They want you to, yeah. A cultural arts district is made up of not only art, but all the museums, all the nonprofits. So we tried to, that's one another thing to think through is any registered nonprofit, Donna and I work each year to make sure that they're all listed. So for instance, the Railroad Museum needed to be listed. The new Blessings on Burnett, if they've gotten all their legal paperwork, next year we'll include them. And so that would be a consideration. So those two things. It's not any issue to include it. I mean, we did want to make sure the 700 block park was included, particularly for the future. Don't want to be doing this every couple of years. But I can see, Lucas, what your point is to go just a little bit more to the west, right? Mm-hmm. And that'd get us, to the other side of the 900 block?
Tone would be like 1100.
1100, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or the 10.
Any other thoughts on that?
I think that's a good idea.
Because that's really where the business district kind of ends on Main Street too.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. Any discussions on the north border? I said we're at Gandy. We all recognize that our historic district is huge, but we avoided just purely residential. It kind of has its own designation.
point, Lucas, if you extended it, west of Tone, would you extend this whole proposed down to Morgan over? Just take the whole piece over, or just to Crawford? Do you see what I mean? Just make it look kind of like a gun? Sorry,
Yeah, and I
Crawford.
think it would. And to your point, Becca, I don't think there's anything south of Morgan, if you go all the way down to Day, that would be an advantage. So yeah, probably just keep the Crawford extension instead of bringing it all the way back up to what it is now. I mean, I'm sorry, Day. But go ahead and extend that over instead of
And extend from
Morgan,
Gandy,
extend Morgan over instead of Crawford.
and Gandy from the north side.
Yeah, and just leave it at Gandy.
Yeah.
Gandy, Tone, Crawford.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it'll be a big L.
right.
Good with that? Y'all
How
would-
does it just curious, we get these questions, believe it or not, I've had it at least 3 times. How does it affect the residents that you're gonna be moving into it, being now a historic district? How does it affect them for renovations on their home?
This isn't historic.
Yeah,
This is
that's
art.
important, yeah. The only thing this would change is the cultural arts designation. Yeah. And I don't think that affects anybody unless you're a nonprofit applying for funds from the TCA and you're outside that. Now, currently, as I said, if there was a nonprofit and they wanted funds, they could, of course, be a nonprofit, they could get funds. But the Commission of the Arts, most of their grants are specific to, they dwell within the Cultural Arts District as designated. All right. Well, the process isn't too bad. Like I say, we've got at least one more stakeholder meeting, one public meeting where we send out announcements. You'll see that on social media. And then finally, the directors will meet in September, and then we'll submit the paperwork. It's very vague at TCA whether or not they only vote once a year or they do it on a rolling basis, so I'll leave that up to them. But in the meantime, we'll at least have our side of things wrapped up. So thank you very much for allowing me to share that with you.
Good work. I think you've captured everything.
Thanks. Yep. Really appreciate that. Cheers. Oh, and I wrote on it, so sorry. Yeah. All right. All right.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you very much. All right.
All right, on to 3C, let's receive a report, hold discussion, and consider the proposed 2026 calendar of events.
So we have our first draft that you have a copy of. And Mitch, is the hot chocolate frolic going to be changed to the 17th?
I don't have the specific date yet. We are working on those. When do we need the specific dates by, Brent?
So we approve it at our August meeting.
August? Okay.
And
I'll have them for you guys.
okay.
I reached out last night to most of the DDI board to try to get firmed up dates. We're still, and I talked with Samantha this morning, the Father's Day was missing from that list, which I think we've added on here. And then we're not sure if Coffee Fest is going to be part of the DDI or if there's anything else that'll pop up, but we'll get an answer for you guys by next month.
Yeah, I did talk to Natalie, and she said January 31st is the date for that. It doesn't matter whose it is, if it's
Right.
downtown. We want it on here. And
And just to be clear, I think we've said this before, but where we have the designations of like parks, DDI, that won't go on the calendar. That's just for us for figuring out what all needs to be on the calendar for right now.
let's see, and September 12th, we talked about a music festival. We're going to have Heritage Park by that time, and we wanted to activate the park. Was it Katy Track's Music Festival is the proposed name? So that's on September 12th, and that would be going on at the same time of Harvest Sweets and Styles. I I think the important thing is to have dates so our guests, can know what's going on, and new residents can keep up with everything that the downtown has. If it's just a shopping event, then it doesn't have to go on here, but it can still be held, of course.
Looks like a full calendar.
We try to have a good something each month for our downtown directory calendar of events, so it looks like it's active. And then, it's spaced out, and I think over the years we've got a pretty good handle on that.
So August looks a little uneventful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
August.
it's too hot.
Back to school.
Would you like to move Fall Festival to August?
Actually, I don't think I've told you this yet. We have it as an agenda to discuss, do I have to use that? They can hear me. We have it as agenda item for our board meeting to discuss handing the Memorial Day Parade off to the veterans. Because it's just, makes sense.
And add a fishing tournament.
Yes. That I can do. I've done that before.
In August, perhaps?
Yeah.
We can call it the Sweat Fest.
Hey, that's good. I like that.
Stripers and sweat.
What veterans group is it y'all are looking to? Is it the American Legion? Yeah.
They've asked about it before.
They do our Veterans Parade.
Yeah.
They do our Veterans Parade, so.
So are we supposed to be voting on this?
No, we vote for approval in August.
Okay.
Anyone see an event missing that we need to add? I can't. All right, let's move on to item 3D, receive a report, hold discussion, and consider modifications to the 4th of July vendor form. I think we have a copy of that form in here. On page 7.
So is this for next year?
Do we have public comments for this one?
Was there
Yeah.
a holdout?
All right. Well, come on up and, let's see. All right. So you got 3 minutes and you are on the clock, sir.
All right. If you don't know me, my name is Derek Roberts. I'm at 325 West Main Street. Some of the handouts in here are just what the vendor passed out. I guess a couple of questions that y'all, if you'd like to ask, you can ask, is why vendors are coming before y'all. I was a member for 4 years and never once had vendors come through. I was on the promotions committee meeting for at least 4 or 5 years and no vendors came through. What I'd like to bring up to date is if you look on this form right here, over here is all your Main Street people that are hiding underneath the trees. We have 2 outside taco food trucks, and then we have this one over here. And they were the ones, and there might even be another picture that shows where they were. This right here. So we put this in the center of the park for the 4th of July that was selling $20 turkey dogs and $10 lemonade. So you got $30 in the 2 of it. So people were spending all their money at this booth and not going to any of the Main Street businesses booth that were underneath the tree. Every Main Street business did horribly that night. Whenever I asked why, it got put back on y'all. And it really aggravated me because I know that y'all had no say in it. And so instead of just saying, I'm sorry, it's a Main Street Advisory Board decision. And I know it wasn't y'all. And I don't know why it's gone before y'all for an update, because another question would be, when did it go before y'all for an update to change it to this one addendum? And even another one, and I have receipts, but I only have 3 minutes, so this is another receipt from Doc Holiday 2024. Whenever Kim and I served on the board, Kim and I were on the promotions committee. And if you look at this, let's see, this is a horrible thing, sorry. I don't want to send this over. I think it goes like this. This is Main Street. This is non-Main Street businesses. Second row back, you have Pop Around the Corner. Third row back, you have the Hanging Tea. Why are we not putting Main Street businesses to the forefront of it? I have been on whenever I served and Landon Winery came to town. There was discussion, you can probably check in the minutes, where it was, well, because y'all were doing music on Main, it was, do we let y'all do half and them do half? Because we didn't want to compete. There's been several other receipts that I can show over the last 10 years that I've been here. And so I guess my question would be, why did we have so many outside food trucks? Why did we have so much competition? Why did we put Main Street where that they were not singing? Why do we not take accountability for this? Why do I have to come here? Why do I have to throw a stink? Why can't it just be, I messed up and I'm sorry and let's move on? Why are we pinning this off on y'all? Have you ever approved a vendor? If y'all want to make it to where they approve every vendor for everything, let's go for it. But they have never, so whenever I was on the board, have never approved any vendors. And so why are we doing this today? Why not, whenever I asked several times in several emails, can we just meet and talk about this? You didn't want to. You wanted to bring it before everybody. You wanted to have it on record. I'm totally fine with that. But why can't we just say, we messed up, let's do better, let's put Main Street first, if that's what we are saying we are? But, this is just one receipt. Kim, you remember that? Whenever we were on everything, we were volunteering for everything, and we didn't even get put in the front line. We got put in the back. So if we want to say we're Main Street first, and I have other receipts, if y'all want to table this and come back next week, I will bring several more of times like this, that this is not the first time. And so this is our livelihood. This is not we get to go take another cushion job and we get another paycheck. This is, I lost 30% of my sales because of that other food truck. I've lost 20% of my sales this year because of that fence. What really made me mad, one more point. What really made me mad with this event is whenever I said, it's not like you're not gonna have another taco truck, and Grant goes, well, we already have some. And Vasquez, this was the Friday before their fence got closed on Monday. And so you take money away from that. We have a snow cone stand that sells out every year, but we never have another snow cone stand out there. If you want to put Main Street first, put Main Street first. All I was asking for was, I'm sorry and I will do better. Not blaming on these kind folks up here that I know will put Main Street first, because every one of them, it's their livelihood, it's their job. Thank you for your time. Is there any questions anybody asked before I'd like to sit down?
I do have a question. So what is the proposal here for the change? Are you saying we should only allow Main Street vendors? Or are we, I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out is, I know there was an issue, so we're past that. So
Yes.
let's try to fix what we're going forward with. So what's the request here? Are we looking to say only Main Street vendors are allowed? Are we saying Main Street vendors first and then replace them if there's no Main Street vendor? Do you get what I'm asking here? I'm trying to figure out how to fix the form as opposed to what happened in the past now, right? So.
Well, and that was my question whenever I saw this. I don't know if, I don't know what the procedure is. I don't know if it's, we have to accept everybody. And so what did, and you guys talked about the past. What did you guys do in the past?
Yeah, sorry, can we pause and just, what is the process for determining the vendors? Like, I know personally, there's been like someone from Main Street has like reached out to me, but I just didn't know if there was, let's hear the process.
So the process is different for every event, but for this event, we don't solicit vendors.
Okay.
They just come to us, and usually they're there every year.
Right.
And so if we didn't have any Cool Treats vendors, we would try to hunt one up. But we did open it to Music on Main vendors, because typically all the downtown businesses that do that sort of thing do Music on Main.
Right.
And so we only allow downtown businesses and sponsors to Music on Main. And so we solicited the businesses that were at Music on Main to let them know if they wanted to, but otherwise we didn't solicit sponsors. They just call our office, we have a vendor form, we send that out, and then they have to get it in by the deadline. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
And so, I've got a question, Donna. How is a 4th of July event different from a Music on Main event as it pertains to the food trucks and the vendors?
So we have, in the past, it's a city event that
4th of
we
July is a
host,
city event.
yes.
Okay.
And so it represents the whole city. The firemen do the fireworks and everything. We just coordinate it from the public end. And so, you're out there in the heat. The guests want something cool, and then we offer them other options.
Is it a larger event too?
Yes,
Larger
it has more people in compressed time, and so from way back, a former mayor said there's too long lines in the snow cone stand, and so we need to get more snow cone stands. So we attempted to do that, and so it's just the idea we don't want people to have to stand too long in the lines. So just
I can answer Lucas's question from a financial. Yes, we got about four to five times more on a 4th of July than on just like a regular music night, and that's the reason why we all prepare for it. Just to give you other numbers, like Lettuce Indulge is usually constantly making burgers and hot dogs for their stuff. For the 4th of July, they didn't even go through 24 hamburgers, and they just turned off their grill halfway through. The long line was at, and then that was, I mean, with this one, if we want to say long line, you have them right here in the forefront, and they had a long line the entire time. I sent videos to Donna to show the long line that they had, and that nobody was over here off to the side. So it was a big wash. And I guess a better question might be to ask too is, can we not tell them no? Because I was looking, the application form's not in here, but we had to list everything we were selling. And so, it might almost be if you have somebody that's selling this and then you have an outside person that's selling the exact same thing, we tell them no. But like we didn't have any barbecue trucks out there. So if there's a barbecue truck that came out there, we don't have any, but if we want to say Main Street first and we're listing everything we're selling on there, then it should be, we're not gonna duplicate the same thing for it. And that's what I was asking.
So Derek, what were you selling? I mean, popcorn, obviously.
We had
but beyond
popcorn
that,
and drinks is what
popcorn
we
and
were selling.
drinks, but not specifically what drinks you were selling, just popcorn and like a variety of drinks.
Yeah, so we
So if another
lemonades.
vendor comes and they're also selling a variety of drinks, where would the problem be?
Well, so lemonade, I sell lemonades, the other person sells lemonades, but you have Vasquez tacos.
Okay, but wait, my question was if you listed drinks, meaning a variety of drinks that you will have.
Yes.
And somebody else lists, they will also have drinks, which everybody assumes a variety of drinks. Where's the problem?
So with that illustration, I don't think there is one, because if you're
Okay.
going to sell food, you're going to sell drinks. It'd be
Yeah.
The only place I know of that does that is the Whitesboro Chamber of Commerce does it for their peanut festival. They're the only ones that are allowed to sell drinks out there. Nobody else can. But drinks is kind of not the illustration. The illustration is going to be. What really got me aggravated was the tacos. If we already
Derek,
have.
we've heard from you, and what's aggravating you, we're trying to understand what the process is, and if the process needs to be tweaked in order to not continue to have issues, what the issues.
Sam, can you bring up the
are.
4th of July illustrate? Yeah, thank you.
So we've already established that this is a much larger event. It's a city-run event versus Music on Main is a Main Street-driven event. Is that correct, Donna?
So do you feel like we need have the Main Street vendors more in the eye of the stage?
I do see where they were going, because if I was organizing this event, I would put the Main Street businesses on the main sidewalk as well.
Well, here's another
But I
question.
understand that.
I can speak a little bit on some of the rationale behind it. Obviously, we're not perfect. We're trying to make it good for everyone. When the 50 amp power is where that electric sign is. So we work around what power we have and what people need power. So that's the reason that Toya Eats and Pierre's had to be on that side. As far as all the 110s and everything are on this side, I know we try to accommodate what everyone's needs are. I know the last couple of years, like for instance, I know Pop Around the Corner has wanted that spot and emailed us, so we accommodated that and put you there. But one of the things we talked about internally is asking for photos of what the booth is, that we have a better understanding of what the layout looks like. But yeah, as far as layout, it's power is what determines first and foremost where we put vendors.
So the infrastructure that is existing in the park, if you don't need electricity, then you're not going to place that booth next to a power source because they don't need it.
Right.
But
Okay.
there are like power outlets along the sidewalk.
Yeah, so
They're
those
just-
are 110
there are-
outlets, like standard plug. That one by the stage is a 50 amp. It's like the big
Gotcha.
industrial like
RVs,
twist lock.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what event is this? What is this from? Dog holiday.
2024.
So Main Street would be on the top side.
And it sounds like we've got two issues here. We,
Speak to the 2024 one. I had to submit a map to TABC for that winery that was in Florida, Hidden Hanger. So I had to do that months before I actually made the map. So Hidden Hanger had to be in that location because I didn't know where anyone else was going to be at that point or what other vendors we could have. So I had to put them there so TABC wouldn't have been mad at them.
So, but that's Main Street up there at the top, so they're literally the first vendor from anyone on Main.
That was the rationale.
I can't tell which, oh, this is Myra, I see it now, that's Main, this is Myra, okay.
I will say also for 4th of July, like we typically are not going to try and double up on vendors or anything. All of these third-party ones had submitted their application at times over a month before our Main Street businesses. Obviously, we're going to support our Main Street businesses, but that was kind of the rationale behind that. We could have said, like for instance, I think Senor Taco had signed up like 2 months before anyone else. It's we're not going to tell no to Vasquez, a downtown business, so that was some of the rationale behind that.
So coming forth to next year, do we need to vote on where people go?
yeah, I guess ultimately, what's the solution here? Do we need to focus on the process? Do we need to focus on, because there seems to be two issues here, right? You've got the issue with the dock holiday, then you have the specific issue with July 4th, right? That's all that's on the agenda.
I think the main
So-
issue is outside businesses, correct?
Yeah, well, in my opinion, based off of what Main Street has told me, is that we're Main Street first. And so what my thought was, if we were gonna say that we're Main Street first, then let's put Main Street first. Like, they got he said those other people got the application a month or two before. We got the application like a week before. And I had to go ask for it, for the application for the 4th of July. So it's not that we didn't turn it in on time, it's that we just didn't get it.
What, isn't it just opened up on the website, like, hey, we'll
Yeah,
open it on?
it's, we do not solicit 4th of July vendors. We did for the downtown
for Dock
businesses,
Holiday and-
but we did not solicit. So if they did it 2 months early, that means they requested it 2 months early.
That they were looking ahead, they wanted to be here, they sought out the application, they filled it out, they turned it in.
Can I say something? So since I do the Fall Fest, which is the largest festival, we try to do our best to make sure that we place our vendors in a location that is not going to immediately be in conflict with the Main Street businesses. We offer the Main Street businesses a location on the street free of charge. We don't charge them for those booths. Our board was okay with that because they're already paying for their brick and mortar. So we don't charge them for those booths. But it is almost a nightmare if I have to stop and say two things. Number one, I have to get board approval for placement. That will hinder the process, and because we only meet once a month. And we're working on this like crazy to put these vendors in the right place. We also try to be careful not to put businesses that are similar to the businesses that are in that block, but it's almost impossible when you have that many vendors. We do our best to be respectful of the other businesses that are here on Main Street, but at the same time, it's very difficult to stop and say, oh, well, because if I were to say I wasn't going to bring in any other competition, I wouldn't have a festival. I wouldn't have, so many of them are retail and crafts. Well, they're going to be selling jewelry, they're going to be selling clothes, all of that stuff, and food. And we do our best to place them where we can. But if you're going to try to change our process and say that you want board approval for placement of vendors, you're going to be tying their hands like you have no idea.
Well, and is that what's being said here, board approval for placement of vendors?
That's probably my fault for not explaining clearly to you. When I spoke with Derek at 4th of July, I'd apologize and said I'd bring it to the board. I didn't mean that in the sense of this is y'all's decision for vendors. I more so, as we do with all of our events and report on them, I was just going to report your concerns that you had to the board. So I apologize if my words weren't clear, but I just wanted to keep you all informed of what our business owners were saying.
Absolutely, and that's what we always do after every event. We evaluate what worked, what didn't work. Do we need to tweak something? Okay.
That was my question.
But the agenda is to look at
Do
the
we need to
form.
revamp the form?
That's what
Well,
the
do we need to
agenda
revamp
is.
the form? Do we need to revamp the process? Because I think there's two things here. The 4th of July event sounds to me like it's a bigger event, and sometimes we need outside vendors.
And it's a city event, not a
it's a
Main
city
Street.
event.
There are multiple parts of the city are contributing, and of course, the vendor part here falls on Donna.
But then there's the infrastructure piece. So even if you would have done correctly, which it sounds like they did, it sounds like this process was followed correctly. I think our bigger issue here is we don't have the infrastructure in the park to really take care of the vendors. So we need to fix that as well. Because if you could have moved all these people in front of Pierre's and there was maybe a channel, Pierre's wouldn't have been the main competition, right? You'd have had more people in front of them. I think that's the issue. Why can't we place the infrastructure in to make it a better solution for everybody? I think that's the other piece.
And absolutely, I think that's a great point and something they can look at next year. But what's come before us to do is to look at the form and to see if the form needs to be.
Well, I think this would cover everything. I think it would cover the infrastructure. I think we can make a suggestion to the city that the infrastructure needs to be upgraded in the park for this. I think that's part of this same thing. I mean, I would think
But
that's
does
covered.
the infrastructure need to be?
I believe it does. Yeah.
Do you? Okay.
I mean, otherwise you're going to have, because let's say you do it correctly again. Once again, you're missing a vendor, and let's say it's this guy for whatever it is. You put him where he is, he's going to take all the business again because
Right.
nobody can be next to him because you don't have the infrastructure
'Cause
to
you
let
don't
the
have the-
businesses
Okay.
compete.
But
right?
I'll speak on this for a second. So whenever you bring in outside people like this, you have the rest of Main Street that we focus on a brick and mortar. Wherever we put all of our money into our business here, and so we're never going to be the eye appeal to that. So I guess that needs to be if we're in Main Street first is what keeps going on my mind that always keeps being said. If we're going to do Main Street first, your eyes are going to go there because they're a carnival. They're made to go to all the events. So if that's what we want for the 4th of July, then the rest of us need to know that hey, you're going to be competing against this. 2 years ago, there was no food vendors at 4th of July, and so we did hot dogs just so that there was a food vendor out there. So to go from 2 years ago to have 0 and to go to this year we have 6, was it? I mean, is a big jump. But that's the thing. I have no say with this, and this was my question to them, and then they told me to bring it before y'all. Is if we're going to do Main Street first, on top of this, we need to say, is this going to benefit our Main Street businesses? To give them a good night, because you look at Main Street, which is phenomenal. Do we realize that we're paying higher property taxes, right? The city gets none of that money. Right? It's all going to this right here. So the way that the city is going to get money off of all of us is off of sales tax. And so whenever you bring other people in, their sales tax is going to go to whatever city that they're saying, and it's not going to come to Denison, which we won't.
Derek,
I don't know
okay, go ahead.
if this event is made to be a Main Street first type
It
event.
isn't.
Like where
It's not a
retail
yeah.
sales driver. I think this is an entertainment
And
short window. Hey, let's get people fed. Let's get people whatever. Let's invite as many vendors as we can to handle a crowd in a rush, if you will. And it's more about entertainment. And if we're trying to grow it to more people here for the fireworks show, then I think you almost have to say it needs to be a vendor heavy event, and then have something with high appeal that if someone's coming downtown and they see the business, but if something that does pop, I've driven past the park before and like had no idea an event was going on, but it was because of vendors and big
Right.
splashy catch your eye
Yeah.
color that really got me to pull over to go, hey, what's going on today? Oh, it's Art Fest or it's this fest or
A couple of things. The first is, so you're saying there were 2 long lines outside of this outside vendor's booth?
Yes.
And-
Can I interrupt you? Sorry.
Sure.
I just have a question about where I think you're going before.
Yeah.
Derek, is your issue with them selling lemonade? Because I feel like I don't see popcorn.
No. So
I don't see any other downtown business that would come into conflict with them.
So my issue with it, and I really wasn't heated, and Grant can probably tell you this too, until I was just joking around, and I said, hey, well, not at first I was like, they're selling lemonades, and they got lemonades real big, and we're planning on doing lemonades. And then I said, now, it's not like you're going to bring in another taco truck. And he goes, well, we did bring one in. I said, because of Vasquez, and he said we did bring one in. And that was whenever I really got, where it's like, okay, why are we listing, because the vendor form's not in here, but on the vendor form it says, well, what are you serving? Oh, it's in there? Sorry, I didn't see it in this one. But it's what are you serving? Oh, yeah, there it is. Sorry, it's further back. And so, I mean, you list, and it's, well, why are we listing what we're going to have if we're just going to allow other people to come in with it?
I do agree with you on the taco one. But going back to placement, I don't feel like this one is coming.
I feel like
If the taco
along the sidewalk is, like, if I were gonna go to this event and
Yeah.
look for something to eat or whatever, I would be walking along the sidewalk, and I feel like the businesses.
Yeah, I'm curious.
But the
as to why
sidewalk
there
is the
were-
back, it's not the front,
Yeah.
right? The sidewalk is the back, it's not the front. So there's no walking on the sidewalk. Everybody's gonna be on the grass side, on the other side, so.
Well, but when we were at the 4th of July, it was everybody walking on the sidewalk. And I think that was in 21.
When I've
like the
been
main
into these
entrance.
events in the past, everybody's making their way to the field or maybe to another part of the park. But this sidewalk, I mean, you're like shoulder to shoulder on this sidewalk because there's so many people on it. I don't
Yeah,
feel
when I
like
do
Main
events at
Street
the
was
depot.
put last in
I'm
this
just wondering
event.
what it was that they were selling that there's, like, if I'm walking up and there's 2 long lines at that booth, why I wouldn't go, well, I'm not waiting in that line.
fried candy bars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I think they're bringing an option that downtown can't provide.
Right.
Corn
But
dogs, funnel
because-
cakes, things you want on the 4th of July.
Yeah, and because this was a city event with thousands, I mean, how many people were?
We showed 4,400.
Okay, so there's no way that if it was just limited to our Main Street people that wanted to come out and make an offering, there would be no way that they could meet that
I disagree.
need with how big the event has grown.
I disagree for 2 reasons. One is we have phenomenal people that could do it, and 2, you could not take food into the park, and so the only people that could eat were the people that actually had wanted to go outside. And so part of that number, if that's inside the stadium, you cannot take any food, drinks, even if it's closed inside the stadium. So out of that number, you're looking at, and I don't know if you could isolate how many people are just outside the stadium, but those are the only ones that are eating or drinking because of the new policy. That's why I disagree with you.
You wouldn't eat before you went in?
No, because a lot of people are not getting there until the concert's starting or until the fireworks are starting, and so they're not coming out there to enjoy it. It's that last hour and a half is whenever everybody comes at one time.
Be that as it may, with thousands of people coming to an event, isn't there an algorithm of how many vendors you're going to have based on the number of people? It's just a best guess.
Well, I mean, I think there probably is a real,
We're not,
We did have some rain during it, not that, that's the issue.
So if if we're looking at the application, is there a way to, like, you must register no later than June 15th? Is there a way to, and I would say maybe this would work for the fall festival, to say, you know, if you're constrained by decision-making and timing of decision-making, you bump up those due dates, or maybe Main Street people have to submit by a certain date, and then other applications aren't accepted until this date, and they must be in by that date.
So
You
we
see
have
what I mean?
two
So you
separate
create-
deadlines.
Right, right.
An earlier deadline for our local
I don't know
people.
if that's allowed. I'm just asking, I'm thinking about time.
Yeah.
Them first, and Derek, I'll be honest, I put it in the downtown group, and I had 0 Main Street people reach out that they wanted a booth on Main Street. 0. The first one that came in finally was Kim. She wants hers on.
Well, as a Main Street owner, I can tell you, that on those days, it's all I can do to manage
Yeah, what you've got.
the brick and mortar, right? It's not a snub necessarily. And the reason we aren't out at the park is we're constrained by personnel. So like on Friday nights, I've got to have everybody, you know, so I don't know. I don't know if the time deadline, like if you have a timeline and clarify it for business owners and clarify it for the community, if that's allowable. I don't know if that is democratic enough.
I think we're missing what the point is, to be honest, from what I'm hearing from all sides. To me, it sounds like the point isn't necessarily that they brought in outside vendors. They brought in outside vendors that were selling the same products that other people were selling. And as a chamber, I sell barbecue, I sell turkey legs, I have a popcorn lady, I don't put her in front of your store. Do that, she's down the block. We have duplicate items that are sold on Main Street.
I think this actually is to the point though, because maybe perhaps, and I don't know, and I'd clarify, maybe the taco truck submitted their, you know, their application before Vasquez was able to get his application in.
So what if we put in here that we just, something along the lines of, city businesses will become first come, first serve, like
Well,
they have.
it's kind of like concert tickets. You have an early release for members or whatever.
Right.
So we could do that. And like Senor Taco had been with us before Vasquez opened downtown. And so
He just knows to
they
get that
just
application
know to get the
in early.
application.
But I mean, the point of it is the decision-making if we need to do the decision-making, so there's not a duplication, that we have an awareness of who on Main Street wants to participate before we consider the other applications. That's the point. And I don't know if you can do the timeline. I don't know if the word's democratic enough, or it's, you know, if it's fair enough or whatever.
We could do that.
When does the application open to the public?
We've not had a date for that event just because of everything else we have going on, and everything else has to have strict dates. That has just, you know, like I said, we don't solicit vendors for it. So just, you know, sometime after the first of the year, sometimes it's when the first vendor calls and we go ahead and get the form out.
So
But-
basically, it's always open.
Yes.
Do we want to limit that to say, hey, it doesn't open till March for the general public, but it opens in February for?
That's what we do. Now, we do
Yeah.
that. We do tell our vendors that we will not accept applications until we have already opened it up. We start with downtown, then we open it up to past vendors, then we open it up to.
Yeah, I think that's a good
But to
idea.
speak of it, when you made this point a minute ago, is that this is a city event. And I just don't want us to get crossways with what we're allowed to do.
What their process is.
Right, right.
But it is the Main Street group that manages this for them. So it's not like it's the city, you know what I mean? We are the ones that are going to be taking the
Okay.
things. We're going to take the heat for it, right? So-
We could have two different, we could open it up early, like early access to the downtown
push it.
businesses.
Yeah.
Perhaps let them tell you,
Maybe something to add to your form would be, how many servings can you serve? So we know that, okay, he said, I can serve 4,000 people. He's going to have the supplies to serve however many people he can serve. You're going to say, I can serve, I'll be prepared to serve this many people. Then, as an organizer,
That's
you
a
can
great
look and
idea.
say,
Yes.
am I going to be covered? Do I need an outside
Yes.
vendor?
I don't
That's-
know if
yeah.
that allows for like, there's competing, like, if you're saying, okay, I can prepare for 4,000 meals, if, if Ricardo can do that, it's not to say like he's bringing 4,000 and then this vendor is bringing, 2,000, they might sell out, he might be stuck because there was competing interests of foot traffic. Because what you're saying, what I'm hearing is that this vendor offers something that not everybody else, it's just a weird thing, examination of
gets
human
complicated.
behavior. Like you would stand in line for 40 minutes instead of going over here and making an alternative choice. I don't know, it was interesting.
Yeah, but I
that
think to the
happen.
point is if we get that data, you can say, hey, we're going to have 4,400 people at this event. And let's say Vasquez says, I can serve 2,000. Well, now you need another taco truck because I can only serve 2,000, right?
Yeah, or you need
You know what I
another-
mean? Or do you need another
another
vendor,
meal
right? So at that point,
service.
or
There you go, another different option.
well, and also too, you can come back to the vendors as they come in, if they're city vendors or whatever, and say, look, we've got these vendors, we don't have anything for you, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. We've already got the coverage of what we think it's going to be. This is the vendors that have already signed up, so we move forward. But you give it in the dates, so there's still dates, so the downtown businesses have the option, but if they don't meet those dates, then another vendor can come in, right? And I think that's fair. I don't,
And it's not that you wouldn't accept it, you
Right.
would just know that you might be competing.
exactly.
Okay.
And if you look at the numbers and let's say Vasquez and all them come up with 7,000 people and you got another one and he's like, and this Pierre's, he's like, oh, I can serve 6,000. Well, you don't bring him in because that's overkill for what you've already got, right?
That's a good.
So it gives you, I think that data is a great point to have for the team to make a decision, right? So otherwise all you're doing is you're saying, hey, put Main Street first, but you're not giving them any guidelines to work from. And that's not fair to them. We've got to give them the framework to say, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. That way Grant doesn't have to deal with angry Derek or angry Mitch or somebody, right? You don't need to deal with that. You
Yeah,
need,
so it's really just a judgment call, and it's a work in progress, and the form's been perfected when something goes south. And so something went south this time, and we're trying to fix it.
Right.
And we can do that by giving an early access deadline.
yeah, I agree. I think that's the best path.
Probably, what I think that the crux of this, if I understand correctly, Derek, the crux of it is, even though it is a city event, the Main Street Department is managing it. And what they're asking is, please put the Main Street vendors first, since you are Main Street and you are is that really what you're trying, there you go. So part of it is the process and part of it is the form, but I think the biggest part of it is they want to know that their interests come first.
Right, but when you think about it as a whole, what section of stakeholders do you put the focus on? Is it customer driven? Is it the sponsor driven? Is it what is it? We could always put Main Street first, but what's the outcome? What stakeholder gets precedence here?
That's a
Is
good
kind of
point.
You got to look at it from both sides. We want to take care of. Well, hold on.
No,
It's
no,
not
no.
a question for you, but that's what we kind of got to deal with, because if the leadership from the city says, "Hey, make it bigger. This is miserable. There's a line at the snow cone stand. We want this to be grand for everyone. We want this the best for the public that's coming." Then do we go, "Hey, we're the Main Street Board. We're all vested in Main Street in some form of fashion or whatever. Do we put us first, or do we do what's the ask?" And if the ask is, "Hey, make it an awesome event for the people who are coming,"
So they come back.
So they come back and they tell their friends and they bring more people. And then if you look at the sponsor level, go like, "Hey, I want to get my place in front of as many people as possible. How do we build the crowd to have my dollar go farther?" All that we got to keep in consideration.
So
But
I think
we do find a problem and a solution for, hey, how do we take care of them first? Because a taco truck signing up before Mr. Vasquez, that's a horrible situation. So I think coming up with hey, let's open this up early, so that way we can make decisions and go, you're the third taco truck. Now, what happens whenever Rustico, Vasquez, Fanny, and the taco truck over here at the food truck park all want to be vendors. How do we treat that?
That would be first come, first serve, I would think. Yeah. Based on the date that you got it. Right.
But do we tell them no?
Well, I mean, yeah, if you, like I said, if you get all the applications in, and let's say it's a 2,000 person event. Let's say you get Rustico, Vasquez, and you have the others. Vasquez can do 1,000, Rustico can do 2,000, so can these two taco trucks. Which one would you choose? Well, you choose the first one. You wouldn't choose any of the others because they're all overkill at that point, right? So, yeah, if your event, though, however, has 10,000 and he can do 2,000, then you would take all of them, right? Because they all can do 2,000. That's 5 vendors, so that would cover your event, right? Okay. I think that's how you would work it.
So
Is it possible for y'all to solicit vendors on this event? Because looking at it from an outsider, I usually don't book 2 of the exact same vendors when I have like Christmas at the Depot and other events, because people are gonna be mad. People are gonna get frustrated because they're competing with someone exactly the same. That's why I don't see a problem with the big truck with the big turkey leg, this one, because their main thing isn't really lemonade. Like, they're offering so many more because, vendors are going to offer something along the lines of other vendors, but as long as it's not like their main only selling thing, I feel like it's safer.
I think that we can change the form to have 2 different dates, allow priority access to our downtown businesses. I think in the end, it's going to come to our judgment on several different factors, and I don't see any way that you can take that away. But we can commit to offering priority to our downtown businesses.
So with that being said, when we changed the form, said, hey, sign up at these dates to guarantee you're that vendor to our Main Streeters or downtowners even. Are we limiting it to downtowners, or is it City of Denison? Because it's not just a downtown event.
We can limit it to just the downtown businesses. That's who we have direct contact with.
How are we going to treat a repeat like a Senior Taco if he's been here for 5 years? How are we going to treat that once Vasquez?
We'll see if they have different menu items. We'll see if it's similar, then the downtown business, as long as they can take care of the crowd.
So, hey, we already have tacos. Can you do enchiladas or taquitos or something else?
Or maybe not. I don't know, but it's going to come down to judgment. And if it's similar items, I think we would give priority to a known quantity like Vasquez that we know can provide a good product. We would give priority to them.
I think the other thing that Diane brought up was the idea of the numbers. So if Vasquez puts 2,000 and it's a 10,000 event, then you'd need another taco truck, right? So if we get that data as well on the form, I think you've got a much easier tool for them to work with.
It's not as simple as how many can you handle. It's how many can you handle in a time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the question then, right? Yeah.
I don't think you want to put numbers on there because they might prepare that much food for those.
They've lost all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you say I can handle 4,000 and I do quarter-pound burgers, you show up with literally half ton of meat.
So then how do they decide what to bring in and what not to bring in?
I think we would
who to cut off.
We would just target, like make our decision based on one taco truck and one of that kind of item.
And
I think, Mitch, sorry, they make that call and not the city, and then we don't have them coming back at us.
No, you will, because now you're going to have, let's say Vasquez is 2,000, you have 10,000 people show up, he can't serve them, people are going to be bitching about the taco truck now, right? That's the issue that you run into. If you get what the volume is that they can do, whether, like you said, if it's per time or whatever, then they can make a calculated piece of what's going to be required. There is numbers for this, I'm sure. I mean, people do festivals all the time. I'm sure we can come up with numbers to say, hey, this is how many taco trucks for how many people who come. This is how many food trucks, drinks, snow cones. I'm sure there's a model out there for that. There's a business for that. Data is king these days, right? I mean, a lot of people know this.
Right,
so what data
it's
do we need to get that, right? To improve it.
I think it is unpredictable because like I was saying, I don't understand how there's 2 long lines But I guess we already discussed the fact that it's like that, people just wanted the
It's
Friday.
just what they wanted. But
Yeah.
so,
Okay.
you know, you got to be careful that you don't tie your hands too much,
Yeah.
because
Right.
another issue you've got that Zach brought up was you have sponsors. So if my presenting sponsor says, hey, we want to set up our wagon and we're going to give out free hot dogs, but let us indulge us selling hot dogs, I've got a sponsor that's giving me $5,000. Am I going to tell him no?
Right.
Right.
I mean, you've got those issues too that you have to bring into the forefront as well. I have a vendor that's giving away water because they sell water. They're not selling their water, they're giving it away free. So now is Conway's going to get mad because I've got someone giving away bottled water and he's trying to sell it for $3 a bottle. I can't tell that sponsor, no, you can't give away that water.
Right.
I mean, there are so many different factors that have to come into play. It's not just about one taco truck, one hamburger joint, whatever. There's a lot of other factors that are at play that we have to balance.
And I think this goes back to the point that Zach was making, and I want to make sure that we all hear that. Who's the focus? Is the focus of the event strictly for Main Street businesses, or is the focus of the event for the people who will be attending the event? And it's a city event. The focus is on those, our guests that are coming from the city, and that they have the best time that they can have, and any foreseeable need that we can meet, it's provided for so that they enjoy themselves and they want to come back every year throughout the year because they had a great experience. Within that, we can tweak how we want to provide for that, and I think we've addressed that in doing a vendor application opening early just for our downtown vendors, and a later application opening for vendors that may be outside of the area. And then things are just going to have to happen organically based on who your sponsors are, what they want to do. So I think we've addressed what needs to be changed on the application, which was our agenda item.
So do we want to vote to add that? The opening earlier for downtown businesses?
Yeah, you can do the event information up there. You can, hey, all vendors must register no later than June 15th, and then say, oh, special window, whatever dates for Main Street businesses. And that way, establish it early before, and I would almost put a start date. And then the rest of the vendors start March 1st, the application process or whatever. The vendor selection and booth assignments will be made at the discretion of the city Denison staff. I think that needs to stay because it does seem like it's more driven off of amperage needed on there. But what would we say is the most sought after spots here? Is it where 8 is in Kona Ice in the corner? I always thought, it was the sidewalk. Because whenever there's someone, we have too many full, like on Fridays, if there's someone off the sidewalk behind because we had so many, I don't see them getting visited as much, except for the bounce house.
Yeah,
There's
usually.
also ADA access, and the sidewalk provides good ADA access.
Well, and also the infrastructure in the park as it is now also dictates to a certain extent who can be where. And
it's not our park, it's a city park. It's
Right.
under Parks and Recreation, and that's not the primary purpose of the park. That's just an incidental event that's hosted there because it's next to the stadium. So I don't know how much infrastructure that's just the question they would have to decide.
Any other changes need to be made?
Can I say one quick thing to that?
Yes, sir.
I have been for the last 8 years to the fireworks, and I've been the last 10 years to the music on Main. So if you ever want to know how people go or what people do,
All right, 1 through 11 here, which one do you say is the best spot?
So, with how this was set up, the big one with all the colors and the graphics, because that's where your eyes drew. That was by far the biggest spot, and if you ask any vendor, they're going to say the same thing, because that was just where your eyes go to. In years past, we've not had quite as many vendors. You would have everybody sit on the grass to watch the fireworks, and that's why I like that spot. I mean, we've had that spot 5-6 years, and it's done wonderful. But this
So
year,
you like number 7?
where I was, and that's what I was just saying.
Yeah, number 7.
In years past, that's been a great spot because there has not been anybody else around. And where all the food trucks are used to be where all the people sit, because 2 years ago, there was us, there was Hey Sugar, there was the snow cone stand, and I can't think if there's anybody. We did hot dogs because there was not another food vendor out there. There might have been the Toya Eats and Co. But then the way that this gets filled up, nobody sat in the grass, and the people that did walk on the sidewalks were walking in the stadium, and as you're walking in the stadium, they were taking away your food and drinks, and they were telling you to throw it away or leave it at the gate and pick it up on the way out. So where everybody was, in this map, you can't see it, but it's on the other side of the snow cone stand is where everybody was sitting, because there was no food trucks or nothing over there. So that's why it got lost in the shuffle with this one. But normally, people would have all sit on this grassy area, and then everybody would have had a great night.
All right. Do we have a motion for the amendments to the,
Motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That has been approved for the amendments. Now on to 3D. Let's receive report, hold discussion, consider modification. Nope, we already did that one.
Yep, 3E.
3E, hold discussion, take action, approval of the updated Main Street mission and vision statements. You will find that in a separate flyer, not stapled in your packet. So Donna, how'd that meeting go?
It went very well, and thank you all for that were able to come. We had Susan Thomas led it, and we passed around a thank you card to send to her. She did a very good job. I think we could all agree. Okay. So just the process, quickly, we did the online survey and got 103 answers, and then Mitch helped us as we did the survey questions. We put it into artificial intelligence, 2 different ones, and that came up with a summary of what we heard. And to me, that's what's most important and we can take forward, because as you'll see, Sam has it up on the screen, but the most important thing, I think I saw, like I hand counted some of the answers. The historic charm was the most prominent, but 19 separate answers, which is a fifth, were historic, and charm was with a lot of them, so that got grouped together. But I think that that's the first thing that people see is the historic charm of the buildings, and then they meet our people, and so I think that the community that was referenced in several different ways. There was unity, community, like just a close-knit spirit, and so I think that was obvious. There was comments that the business owners, like if Wendy doesn't have it, she may refer them to Rebecca. If they're looking for what Mitch has, they would all refer each other, and I think that's where you get that, and just that spirit. So another thing that was prominent in the survey was you get that hometown feeling when you visit with the people. And so, a lot of people said it a lot of different ways, like you feel like you're home or hometown, or just you feel like you belong. It's just a comfortable feeling. And so that helped me. I had to do some writing for some articles, answer some questions, and this was just perfect. They liked our variety, like we have a variety of businesses, and they like that. And they felt like it was walkable. So a lot of them mentioned the longest Main Street. Go ahead, Sam. So I don't know that we want to spend that much time on all this, but we can come back to it next month, because I feel like in this and the stakeholders meeting that there was a lot of things that we can work on, like approaches to downtown. That's not going to be our responsibility. That's another department, but we can work with them to share that. The marketing to the lake, that's going to be tourism, but we can share that and make sure that they're aware of it. Let's see. The 5 things that we ask them, and you didn't have to, it's how important is this one item to you? So all of them may be important, and I think that's what we see, that over half of the people felt like family-friendly activities was important. The historic buildings, and of course that ties into the historic charm, and then the local business growth is very important, but not far behind the art, music, and culture and the our history. And who completed the survey? This isn't exclusive. You can be both. You can be 2 or more things. So a lot of people that spend a lot of time downtown, which I think is they're drawn to the downtown, obviously. So is this the final one? Okay, so your handout shows how we got there. It shows the 2 different options that Mitch came up with. Well, not Mitch, but his AI.
We affectionately call Mitch.
Yeah.
Yes. Not Grok anymore, it's Mitch.
It's Mitch.
It came up with 2 options, and then I took those and combined them with our existing statement to see what it gave us. But this is what the people said at the meeting, and it can still receive some tweaking. I know that what I was looking for is what's missing. Like, I like these statements. I think they're great, and I think the people at the meeting got it spot on with a lot of things that weren't in the survey. But what is missing from our survey or our pre-existing information, or the things that they said during the meeting. So community spirit is not in there, and I don't know that it needs to be. I'm just pointing out differences. The community spirit was really what draws people in. The residents and visitors alike was mentioned in previous statements, and then family friendly. And I think inclusive architecture and businesses flourish were other things that I didn't see in there. Again, I'm not advocating that they're in there. I'm just telling you that those were things that were mentioned that aren't in there. That's all I've got.
reading it like that, I mean, it just, downtown Denison is a thriving destination. I don't know if you need two adjectives.
Yeah, I don't think so. That was brought up in the meeting, though.
And it was in one of the offerings.
You know what, we really want to drive some tourism here, do all inclusive. You just walk down the street like, I'll take that.
I don't think we can be everything to everybody, nor put everything in here. It's like, okay, they added the kitchen sink and then the bathroom sink, and so I'm comfortable with what we have.
Donna, I think these two,
Yeah, it doesn't need to be any longer than it
Well,
already is.
and the two statements really speak to the culture of community and family and being together with, walkable downtown, diverse experience, commerce, culture, livability, heartbeat of Texoma, I think we've covered all of the
Yeah, the heartbeat of Texoma, I think, was a big one too for a lot of those people there. So I think that was, I think it was looking great.
Sam, is this the final one that you wrote?
I copied and pasted this off of the PowerPoint that I was editing during that meeting.
Yeah.
That I typed during that meeting. I copied it and pasted it here.
Oh, okay, because there's what you ended up with at the bottom. It says community developed. I've got, and it's important to me. This is going for council approval.
Oh, it just has to be.
So there is something that was mentioned at the meeting that I think is important. So just look at the heartbeat of Texoma. Historic downtown Denison is a vibrant shopping, dining, and living destination that is a magnet for families, business, arts, culture, and entertainment. Is the way I would offer it. That's not. That is a magnet for business, arts, culture, and family-friendly entertainment. I like that it's a magnet for families, business, arts, culture, and entertainment. Okay.
If you put just family entertainment in there and not just entertainment, people are gonna say, well, there's no nightlife.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I said. at the
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
So can you edit that? No, on the screen.
Families before business.
Yeah, families.
For families, business.
Oh, so we do want to add family?
in front of business.
In front of business, not
Like as
by
a
the
separate-
entertainment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a separate category, family, comma.
Yeah, the
business,
Mayor Crowley wanted to add family to it, right?
And it's going to council, and I think it's not just him. That was in our survey.
Yeah. And I think we didn't want to put family-friendly entertainment, because like you said, it would dull the nightlife, right?
Right.
So,
So let's read that one more time to make sure that it matches. The heartbeat of Texoma, historic downtown Denison, is a vibrant shopping, dining, and living destination that is a magnet for families, business, arts, culture, and entertainment.
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
Okay, now the mission. As a Great American Main Street Award-winning city, Denison drives preservation-based revitalization by fostering a vibrant, walkable downtown that blends historic charm with diverse experiences in commerce, culture, and livability. Does that match? There might need to be a trademark on Great American Main Street Award, but we can add that. Just a little symbol.
That covers it all.
Copy and paste.
Yeah, I think these statements are a great distillation of the survey, the meeting, what what we've talked about in here. I think this really,
I'd like to
Captures it.
thank Mitch publicly for his help. It was great to have that. That's the only way we could do it in a compressed schedule. And also, they've asked for it to go to council on September 2nd, I believe. It's on a Tuesday, not the normal Monday, because the September 15th is going to be when they consider the budget, and it's probably going to be a long meeting, a lot of stuff on the agenda. And so that means that we could approve it today and go ahead and prep it for the council approval. Or if we need to make changes next month, it would just, we would have to probably put it on that agenda before we had it approved, but we could edit it if needed before they see it. It's just the timing, the deadlines and everything.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we approve these as written.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
We all second it.
The new mission and vision statements are approved to submit to council.
Good job.
I did see where y'all had a suggestion for cops on unicycles.
Sam, we copied the comments from the meeting in what we distributed, right? Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So we will bring those back for discussion and take them to committees for discussion. And you'll likely see that part of it again. I think it's some important things that we need to work on.
The list on the last page, it says what was missing in survey responses. This was like made up by people who attended the meeting. That wasn't what we came up with.
Yeah.
I just wrote down my notes.
All right, on to the special project reports. First, we have music friendly.
First off, just this is the last week of Music on Main, which is always sad, but this year's been really good turnout wise. I think we've gotten a lot of, I think especially the last, that's reflected the last 2 years, is we always have our awesome group that always comes, but we're getting a lot of people. Each of these artists are bringing in people that wouldn't come. So we, at our tent, we kept hearing people from, we had someone that was from Shreveport, Louisiana that came just for that concert. We had people from Marshall, Texas that came just for that concert. So, and they all said they went and shot beforehand. So
Nice.
that makes us feel good that people are coming in and shopping. Other than that, also we had those, I've talked about it a few times, but that local talent spotlight CDs, we've been giving those away at Music on Main, and people are loving. I mean, we knew that was going to be the right audience for that, but it's been awesome seeing how many people are taking that. But like Donna said, kind of in our calendar spot, we've talked about different ways that we can activate the park more once it's finished. So like you said, we just talked about September 12th tentatively having a music festival. We talked about K Tracks is kind of the going, music festival is kind of the going thing. That way we can kind of, the park's going to be a roundhouse design. So bring in that railroad history. We talked about we could do things with partners with like the Railroad Museum. It'd be a music festival first, but just tying in our heritage that way. That's most of what's been music friendly so far.
All right, thank you, sir. On to TERS number 3 and D3.
Well, the construction dates have been fluctuating recently. The weather and the heat has been a factor. I don't have to stand out in it all day, but I know that the heat is got to be hard on those guys laying the bricks. But they described to me that they're having to wear 2 pairs of gloves just to handle them. Ooh. And so that kind of made it more meaningful what they're having to go through. So Piazza's trying to bring in another crew just to increase the people working on it so we can get it I don't have a firm date yet on when the 300 block is opening, but they're pushing to make that as quick as possible. And I think the businesses have been doing a lot of videos, and that's been good. Kim, I would like to commend you on the one on the back door. Like, you went to the back door and you showed them how to get in, and I, as a customer, that's what I want. I want the quickest, easiest way to get to your business. And so I know that
We've done a
it's,
few different ones, so
Yeah.
they'll be coming.
yeah. I know that it's tough, and I'm not trying to make light of that. Grant and I did some number checking, and we looked at the first 6 months of 2023, 2024, and 2025, and it's grown every year. So the people are coming to downtown. I don't know where they're going in our downtown or where they're spending money. I know that it's impacted the businesses, but they are coming downtown. In 2023, it was 240,798, 246,498 in 24, and 251,398 this year. So that's a 2.4% increase from 23 to 24, and a 2% increase in 20 to 2025. And so I thought that was interesting. But that's all I've got on that.
I'll tell you something that the Junior League is doing is we are sponsoring a boutique every month, and we're doing late night shopping with them. So Tuesday night we did Mama Queen's, and next month we're doing Usher and Company, and then I think the next month is Honey and Holly. And
Nice.
so just to help,
Yeah.
you know.
I think the first one was at Ray's, right? How did that go for you?
It was good. Yeah. How'd Mom Queen go? I know her construction.
Yeah, she said that she's so super glad we did it because it brought in a lot more people that evening. She hasn't given me numbers yet. So.
Well, then it also gives them an opportunity to see that it's not
How to get in.
undoable. You
Yeah.
can walk down the sidewalk. You can go in the door. Yeah, so it's not scary.
I think the key is helping everybody.
Mhm.
You know, everybody help each other.
Absolutely.
What was the projected timeline on this block and then Heritage Park? Just rough estimate.
Heritage Park won't be done until the end, and so the end project date is, I think, June 8th of 2026, but I'm counting on it being open for Music on Main, and it could possibly be, like, they can be working in the alley and finishing that up, or they could not have the trees in or something, and we could still have Music on Main. So I'm hopeful for that, but it's June of 2026. And are you asking when it was the projected date for 300 block, or
Just the 300.
or when is the projected date?
When was?
When was?
Or is rough estimate.
Well,
I just get asked all the time.
it was August 1st,
I
but
thought it was August.
but they don't think they're going to be able to hit that. And I don't have a date yet, but I don't think it'll be over a couple of weeks.
December
after
12th.
that. Yeah. No. Yeah, let's start a rumor. That's a great idea, isn't it, Zach?
All right, on to the Ike High.
We got our last delivery of product for the Ike Hike yesterday, and so just gonna get that installed, and then some of it will be installed with the streetscape. we haven't met. We're taking a hiatus until September.
All right, and then the Eisenhower birthday celebration.
Yeah, we didn't meet. We did get graphics and they're approved. And so hopefully we'll have that soon. But the meeting, they weren't able to come because it's of scheduling conflicts.
We've gotten pretty good turnout on bricks. I think, is it 13 that we've had? Oh, 20, never mind, maybe more. Yeah, no, it's been, we've had really good turnout, and one of the things, Kurt, as y'all all know, he's great at speaking and really understands that aspect of it. So this year we've been asking the people that have bought bricks to give us just a little summary of who they're dedicating it to. That way we can better represent them and honor them at the ceremony. So.
All right, and then committee reports, DDI.
DDI, not a whole lot this month. We've got the upcoming tax-free weekend. Our bylaws were approved, so they have been from the last meeting, but nothing else major. Anybody have any questions for the DDI?
What were the major changes to the bylaws?
The main thing was like the quorum. One of the issues we ran into was the major change to the bylaws was the quorum. The quorum and the city has a placement on there. So it was always agreed when the park sale happened that there would be a city official like Donna on the DDI board. That was not formalized before, so we formalized that in the bylaws. And the other thing was if the quorum fell, I think the quorum was a physical hard number of 5. And if we had less than 5, we had to basically dissolve DDI. So that would have been the end of DDI. So this now is based on the quorum of the current number of board members that are left behind. So if there's 3, that's the quorum, or 2, whatever the case may be. But we put that into the bylaws. That was the major change. So, and I think we put term limits in because before there were not any. So
What are the term limits?
I think it's 3 now. So I think you can serve 9 years total on the DDI board. You can now you can run again after that for a different position, but that's it. That's the only real change.
All right, thank you, sir.
One question, do you, if I remember correctly, the green, open business, flags, that's DDI, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, do you have extra ones that go into the next block?
Yeah,
the-
400 block.
The
We-
400?
let me-
A few have asked me.
Yeah, let me see what we've got in stock. I think we were planning. I think we had some. I can't remember. Lucas, did we have extras? I don't think we did. I don't remember. Let me go back and find out and see.
I think Derek has some, and what I put in the instructions to everyone is to contact him for those flags. I think if people needed them, there are some in previous phases or not directly impacted by construction that they could.
I know the bargain
from-
box was one of them that was asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't feel like there's a lot on this block that's actually using them.
Yes, I haven't seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen them. There are a few out there.
So there should be extras.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the Denison Area Chamber of Commerce.
Our teacher events start, I know, here we go. Our teacher events start Monday with the new teacher luncheon, and we have about 200 people coming, so it's going to be a lot of fun. 86 new teachers this year, so it's a great way for them. We have plenty of gifts for that. We are still looking for raffle prizes for the back-to-school breakfast on August 5th. That one's a little bit light, so we need to get some more prizes in for that because that has 600 people attending that one. So it's a really big event, and we want to make sure we take care of our teachers. We did pivot this year. We finally we've slowly moved to only giving away chamber cash. So this is the first year that they're not getting any cash. We are going to, the reason behind that is it's our members that donate the money. And so if we're going to give that cash to the teachers, we're going to give it to them where they're going to spend it back at our members. And so that was very much approved by our board chair. Thank you, Zach. And so we have transitioned to that. So we're going to be putting almost $6,000 out in there. So if you're not taking chamber cash, you need to. It's a great program. We've done really good with it. The main thing to remember, August 20th, we're going to really rely on a lot of help to get this out to the businesses. It is our coffee and chat. We are bringing in the State Chamber of Commerce CEO, Glenn Hamer. He is going to get updates to the legislative session, both of them, and how it will affect businesses, because there are a lot of changes for businesses that are positive. So we're very excited about that. They will be, he'll be updating just on the business side of it. He's very well spoken. He's really good. August 20th. It'll start at 9:30 with the meet and greet, and then he'll present at 10. And so that's going to be really important for that one. And then the only other thing I have is mainly
Yeah.
Landon. It'll be at Landon is what we're planning, but if we get more than 100, if we get more, significant more than 100, we will probably have to relocate. Because we want to make sure our businesses have access to this, because this is going to be a really important one.
Call me. Because Blackbird should be open by that time, so it'd be perfect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we might talk about that then. I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
And then the only other question I have is on Fall Fest. Is there any update yet on the permit requirements for the food trucks?
I'm not aware of any new ones.
I love this. This is fun. So Christine told me that there is a possibility that on September 1st, they will no longer have to have health permits or city permits. So that's from the state. And no update on that. Okay.
The downtown ordinance is separate from that, so people can't just come downtown doing that. So they'll still need to have all those licenses. Chris said?
Chris told me if the state passes it, nobody had, they won't even.
We talked to Chris too. That's why I'm confused.
She told me
Okay.
that if the state passes it, they will not even have to have a health permit from the county.
That's
think-
gross.
No. I think it's a misinterpretation there. I think they said basically expanding the cottage rules. So if they're selling stuff that falls under that, no health permits. But if it's started off raw,
So we'll have to check
Yeah,
into
we'll need to
that.
get some clarification.
Yeah, that's good to know.
But they do have to go through the process right now,
Yeah.
but she said as of September 1st, that may change.
If I'm,
Will not be required to go to the health department or to the city to get a permit.
if I'm eating at a food truck, I want them inspected.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I do too, so that was kind of an odd thing when she told me.
Yeah.
So maybe, I hope I misunderstood.
I hope you did too. Yeah, let's get some clarification. That's what I was thinking, brown bag.
We'll just go to a restaurant.
Yes.
We know they're taking everything. That's all I got for now.
all
But yeah,
right.
that would be good to know.
Tourism and CVB.
Good morning. So some recent things that we've had is our board approved the grant application for tourism, events, conventions, and historic preservation. So now we have a little bit more lengthy application process, as well as the applicants have to give us a more detailed report following the how they spent the grant funds. So this will help us determine in the future, like, do we want to continue to give them this grant money, or are they using it how they say that they're meaning to whenever they apply for the grant? So this will just help us out a lot in determining who gets those funds. We have an upcoming hot tax kind of overview summary training. So if any of you are interested in that, we have someone from the Texas Hotel and Lodging Association. So we'll have an actual like lawyer that represents them come and talk to us and train our board, the Arts Council board, and if any of you want to participate, they're just going to give us an overview of what the hot funds are, how they can be used, the changes that occurred with the last legislation. There's like a couple things that have changed with that. And then we are planning to start a bill for the 2027 session to allow us to update recreation, or not recreation, but sports facilities, so that we can start hosting like College World Series for JUCO tournaments, or, you know, state regional tournaments. But there's certain rules that come with that, like press boxes, stadium seatings and stuff, that our facilities, we just don't have that. So we're gonna work on getting a bill passed so that we are able to improve our facilities to have more tourism, or sports tourism here. And then our sister cities kiddos are back in Denison. So right now we have 6 French students living with our host families. And Tuesday we went to the stockyards and we showed them a real Texas time. It was a lot of fun. They did line dancing lessons and horseback riding. And yesterday we went to Stonebriar Mall, Rangers game, and they got a tour of AT&T Stadium. So it's a lot of fun. We're all really tired. And then tomorrow we have a day at, we have our Main Street Day. So we'll make sure that they all come in and stop by, and you'll get to meet them. So those are my updates.
When was the tax meeting?
Oh yeah, it is August 18th. So that's a Monday, and it's at 2 p.m. So if any of y'all have like questions on like grants for historic preservation, or for y'all's buildings, anything like that, or if you know people that could utilize grant opportunities, please invite them to come to that. We want it to be as informative as possible, and we want to give everybody the chance to ask questions. August 2nd. The beginning of August, whatever that Monday is. I think it's the 2nd.
And that's for the rest of the year, right? For events in the rest?
It'll be for the fall cycle, and then we'll have a winter cycle that I think opens in November, December.
Okay.
All right, and then promotion committee, we can see the summary on the back page. Any highlights in there we need to know about?
No, I think all the committees is listed.
All right. Economic vitality, when does the proposed?
Diana's leaving, and I need to make sure. Did you get our downtown, Good Morning Downtown invitation? It was an email. Maybe. Will you be here to talk about the fall festival? You know, we did it in here. We had a vendor.
She will be here.
Thank you.
If I'm not, my board chair.
Okay.
The chamber will be represented.
I can have the chamber represented. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
important.
Susan would love to be here.
Okay.
Yes. I may be on vacation.
Oh, well, I mean, why didn't you just start with that? But yeah, we just, you know, we want y'all to talk about Fall Fest, to solicit.
August 19th.
19th.
Oh, Chelsea will be back.
Okay.
That's her thing.
I'm sorry, Zach.
No, you're good. All right.
What time
When is the,
What time is that? 8?
8 to 9:30.
when does the ordinance go in front of council for economic vitality, the registry?
It's probably going September 15th. We will be having a property owners meeting before then, and there's some DDF. They've got a new funding assistance that they're considering, so we're hoping that comes before we
And
go
when are
before
those
council.
meetings?
Pardon?
The property owner meeting, and then?
We don't have it set
Oh,
yet.
okay.
All right, I was just looking at the other design and organization. Do you have anything for our director's report?
Yes, I do. Jordan mentioned a meet and greet, so I'm gonna let her.
Oh yeah, We have our downtown business owner meet and greet next Tuesday, and it's right.
29th.
It is Monday. Okay, it's all day, so we want to give y'all the opportunity to just come in and see the visitor center, talk to us. We can discuss like how we can help y'all as far as tourism related purposes. We just want to make sure that all of y'all know what the purpose of the visitor center is and having a tourism department. And so we just want to make sure that like y'all know who we are. You feel that you can come talk to us about anything. If you need help with tourism purposes, like we're here for you. So it's all day on Monday.
All right.
I have show and tell. So I mentioned the Good Morning Downtown, and we've been talking about that for a while. But that's going to be on August 19th, and I would like to plead with you guys to come. We're trying to really make it worthwhile. So I'm going to pass something around. It's a new street sign. Our downtown street toppers that show it's a historic district. We need to add that we're a GAMSA winning city. The street toppers do not fit with our new design on Main Street. So I asked Mel to design us an option. This cut off at the bottom of the page, but you can see on that, and it does size proportions. So the reason that that's important is because it shows what it looks like on the sign. There were a couple of larger options, but it was too big, and so this does the job, I believe. But it's going to be white. There are two other colors shown in there, but it will be white and will look like this. And then we will have some sort of this version as a new topper because the old ones are getting worn. And that's all I have, I think. Does Sam or Grant know of anything? That's all.
All right. Well, thank you, ma'am. So at 9:57, let's adjourn the Main Street meeting.